definitely knows his stuff more than, I always, I find it interesting that a lot of people put on conferences or start raising money and stuff like that, and they're really not been in the game that long. I don't know if anything else. Yeah. Have you ever seen that, Dion? It's like, if I was somebody giving somebody else my money in like a syndication or whatever, just because somebody's done a bunch of flips and started buying apartment buildings and has a platform because they've networked themselves really well, that does not mean they are going to It's a different game.
It's a completely different game.
It's a different game. And
well, there's a couple aspects. And so I run a truck driving school.
Yeah.
There are a lot of drivers. There are some phenomenal drivers out there that can do like rodeo trick stuff with a semi, who couldn't teach a kid how to tie their shoes.
Yeah.
So in real estate, it's the same thing. There might be somebody with a ton of experience, ton of information, but doesn't know how to present it, doesn't know how to teach. So it's not always just that new person that tries to help and doesn't have the right information. It's hard to target your information source if you're going out to get information from somebody who has the knowledge, but doesn't know how to teach chronology, the different ways people learn.
What I'm saying is there are some people that are good at doing that are great at public speaking and confident and all that other stuff and could teach it. But yet the reality is they really haven't done much of it. They're just riding their newfound fame, I guess I'll say, because they, I'm not talking to, obviously, Dion, you're actually qualified. You're living it. You're doing it. And you're articulate about it. This guy right here, Dion.
I'm really good at staying in my lane, though.
Yeah.
If you want to talk wholesaling, don't know it. Flipping, don't know it. Bird, don't know it. Multifamily, 5 units or more, don't know it. Here's what I've done.
Right.
That I can do. All these other things, I know people to send them to.
Yeah. If you are getting into multifamily and you really, in order to be raising syndication funds and all that kind of stuff, and you really need to have been doing this for like 10 years where you've been owning and operating properties, at least that long, in my opinion, or been through a downturn. It's almost like you should have a license that if you haven't been through a market correction, then you have to put a disclaimer or some sort of something on your stuff, because I don't know. I think I've been doing this for so long and I get tired of, the noise or whatever, or, I kind of just want to hang out with you guys on Thursdays and go do my own thing, honestly, because I don't know. I love it all. And I'm totally I love all the great information that's available out there. Right. I don't know. I think maybe I'm cranky today or something like that because my kids got exposed to COVID big time, right? When I pushed the button for our vacation here, where I paid the hotel bill and all that stuff. And then like 30 seconds later, it's like your best friend got COVID that coughed in your face all day long. I'm like, Jesus Christ, here we go.
That sucks. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But we're just, you just get up and you just keep going. Right. So we're supposed to go, I don't know if I don't see Keith or anybody on here, but we're going to go to Coeur d'Alene. We're going to go to Coeur d'Alene tomorrow and just get out of town and there's a big amusement park over there. I'm dealing with a bunch of middle schoolers. So, going to go goof off and do that and bring our bikes and hit the trails and stuff like that over there. So if we make it that far, but what happened to me is that I keep getting so sidetracked by that kind of shit that I've been doing. It's making me stall to do anything. So I think I'm just like screw it. We're going to I don't really care what happens. We're going to book it. And if we make it there, we do. And if we have to pivot, then we pivot rather than me trying to make sure it's all going to be okay. Screw it. We're just beep, let's go. Right. That's where I'm at. Where are you at, Joe? You somewhere fun?
I'm in Fruta, Colorado. It's known for
Fruta.
mountain biking.
Nice. What mountain is that?
There's no mountain here. It's like Red Rock, Colorado River is right down the road. It's very well known for mountain biking. So there's 3 major mountain biking systems here. And
Nice.
the best bike shop that I've ever been to is across the street. So we try and stop in and get our bikes tuned up whenever we're in town.
Sweet. Oh, I was gonna text you a picture of the girls' tires. And you tell me whether you think they're the right size tires for off-road riding, right? Because I think they are, but then, somebody else said, oh no, those need to be bigger tires. I'm like, I think they're fine. So I'm gonna later today snap you a text on their tire and you take a look. Can you do that?
Yeah, sure. Send me anything about mountain bikes. Happy to look at it.
Saying, guys. Yeah. And if you guys have any health questions, you can always ask those in fitness. We got Joe here, Mr. Captain America, that can answer any of your health and fitness questions while we're here anyways, right? Or follow his stuff as well. So what's going on with you? So Dion, are you continuing to, have you noticed anything? I think the rates for multifamily are still okay and manageable. Well, especially, I don't know about 1 to 4, but 5 and above. Albert and I were just texting this morning. Bob Thomas just showed everybody that rate sheet for, I don't know how many units and above. I think it was commercial size loans. Still in the mid 4s. I mean, that's doable. Anything's doable with the right underwriting, as you know. But what's nice about, I wanted to bring it up, see what you guys think, because I'm just making this shit up as I'm talking. But it seems like a good place to be investing right now that has more predictability, that isn't sales comparison approach based investing. Like 1 to 4, you're still having to have that sales comparison approach, right? That you have to look at that. 5 and above is going to be more based on just the facts, right? What are the rents and that sort of thing, not a sales comparison approach. You're protected from that when it comes to that. Would you guys agree that might be this might be a great time for people to push themselves to 5 units and above, just for the fact that it's a little bit more predictable and the rates are okay?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I'd say commercial is
I found some DSCR lenders that will go up to 12 units, 30 or 40-year fixed rate debt. And the debt structure was always the barrier to me. I don't ever want a loan reevaluation period, and I don't ever want an adjustable rate. I wouldn't, no matter the numbers, I wouldn't do that. So I'm making offers on a couple of 5 units and 8 units that I found with that DSCR. My rates are higher. It's like 5.5 or something like that. So it's a bit higher, but my numbers were working with the offers I was making.
5.5 is still fine. You know what I mean? I'd say that's good right now. What do you think, Albert?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good for a DSCR loan. It's probably like 7.5. You could probably do it for free for like 5.8, pro bono. Joking.
Right, no, I'm buying down to get the 5.5. Right. Yeah.
That's
the bought down rate.
Okay. Cause I was going to say, I thought that would be more like in the 7s. Is that somebody like certain lending offers that?
Typically the DSCR loans, they typically, if they want to make 2 points, they have to charge you 1%. So their wholesale sheet might say 5 or 6, but to you it's 7 with less points. You could always pay that difference and keep your rate low. But that's the rule of thumb, at least they tell me. So that's like more of like industry talk. So they'll tell me, hey, if you guys want to make, 2 points, the consumer is going to pay 1% more. Just letting you guys know that's what happens on the wholesale side of the mortgage equation. So
yeah. So Dion, like they gave you a quote of like what, 7.5 or something, and then you're buying it down to 5.5.
Yes. And I think it was 3 points. So it wasn't really great rates. It was enough to where the numbers worked for me. I buy and hold without ever planning on selling. So I always buy down the rates. So they just kind of communicated that way. With certain lending, he'll do up to 4 units. I haven't asked him about more. I probably should check with Alex, but this is Convoy Home Mortgage, Convoy Home Loans. They have DSCR up to 12 unit. They've got a 30-year fixed rate, or the 40 is a 10-year interest only, then 30-year amortized. So I haven't figured out which one of those I want to go with yet. I'd have to look at the payments and choose, because I would do 1,000-year mortgage. I don't care about having properties paid off. That's not my goal. I'm investing for cash flow. So the 40 is attractive to me.
You should call Crux Commercial Real Estate, who are brokers in Tacoma, and just see what they have available on commercial stuff for you.
CRUX?
Yeah. This is for commercial size deals. Because I'm working on one with them. Let me give you, let me see. Hold on.
I mean, I'm pricing one with Bank of the West right now. I'll let you guys know next week
Yeah.
what it is.
On a
It's commercial, of course, multifamily, commercial.
The guy I'm talking to at Crux is Rob Hawkins.
Well, maybe we should get that contact too, huh, Julie?
Yeah, you want his contact? Is
Yeah, you can.
I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, you can put in the chat.
But he's a broker,
Yeah,
a loan broker.
we can't do everything, you know. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
I got him from because I was shopping, I don't know, helping a buyer on another commercial deal. And they had the lowest rates in town at that time. So we'll see. Got to flush him out a little bit, but you know, his rates weren't really anything different than what like Bob Thomas was saying, I would say. But they do the small to mid-size deals as compared to some of the, you know, my past life deals with, you know, we're talking 200 to 500 units. They don't really do those. Those are more like, you know, lots of different stuff, different animal. There you go. Rob Hawkins. Tell him Julie Clark sent you. Give me some points. But yeah. So I have another friend who shows up here sometimes. I don't think he's on today. My friend Patrick. And he just bought like, I don't know if it was 9 or 10 units that need to be remodeled. He's kind of like you, Dion. I told him about you. I had coffee with him this week and I said, you sound like my friend Dion on his, I'd like to connect you guys on his, investing strategy that he'd like to pursue. So he just picked up, I think, a 5-unit and 2 duplexes on one property or something like that. So 9 units in need of renovation. And he only had to put $40,000 down. And he went for the long-term, loan as well, I believe, on that deal. It'd be good for you to talk shop with him. And I can give you his number. I'll text it to you, Dion. His name's Patrick.
Thank you.
He likes to talk shop, so you guys would be good to, you could just call him up and say, hey, I was just talking to Julie and she said you and I should talk shop because maybe we have the same investment philosophy, you know. He's over here in my area, Queen Anne-ish, Ballard. But you know me, I like to make those connections for you guys. What else is going on? Anybody want to complain about anything or talk about?
Well, I had some questions on the lending. I'm kind of debating if I should refinance my single family homes. I guess maybe finance because I haven't, I bought them cash, but I don't really need the capital and interest rates are high right now. So I'm kind of debating if I don't really need the capital, do I want to do it? It's like maybe I just let them cash flow the way they are and then wait until hopefully the rates go down. But I don't know. I'm also kind of thinking, well, the rates are going to keep going up for a while. Maybe it's good to go ahead and do it now and just to have it for, I guess.
I mean, if prices go down and you want to start buying stuff with your cash, that would be maybe a way to get access or HELOC.
Mm-hmm. Did you set up your lines yet, Ian?
Lines?
Mm-hmm.
You
Lines
mean
of
like credit lines?
of course. Yeah, credit lines.
No, I mean, I haven't really done anything with them. I'm kind of talking to certain lending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but one thing with them, they said they can't do properties that are considered rural. So they can do some of my properties, but not all of them. But they did give me a good tip as far as they said don't do try to not to get a prepayment penalty. Because for me before I was like, I don't care about prepayment penalty. I'm going to keep these properties forever. But they said, well, if the rates go down in a couple years, you want to refinance,
Yeah.
So good.
You don't want to get kicked in the ribs when you're trying to refi, right?
You have prepayment penalties on yours, Dion?
I don't on any of my current ones. If I did the 40-year, 10-year interest only, there's a 5-year kind of prepayment where you can pay 20%
yield maintenance
each year until the 5th year. So refinance in those 5 years would be bad.
But step down is not that bad actually, because it's definable. You know exactly what it will be every year. It'll be 5 points, 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, 0 points. So it's easy. But yield maintenance, it's like a calculus formula. You have to figure out what the market rate is. It's basically saying, like, if we sold this loan, the investors would have made X. Let's say it's 5%. And now that rates are up, the yield maintenance might not be so expensive if the current rates go up, because the investors would be happy that you paid them off. They can go invest their money in higher rates, right?
That's
so the investors going to be happy. But when rates are going down, yield maintenance is very expensive because you were paying them 5% and now the rates are 2%. So by you paying it off early, you're paying the delta between those two rates for X amount of years, which is a lot of money. And that's why yield maintenance is expensive when rates go down. So just so you guys know.
But maybe not when rates are going up.
Yeah, it could be cheaper. It actually could be 0 or cheaper. Yeah, so yield maintenance is basically based on maintaining the yield, as the term implies. You're maintaining the yield for the people who bought the debt. That's all it really is. But it's like a calculus formula.
We should record a soundbite on that topic. We don't have to call it like a full podcast episode, but it would be, like a long 45-minute thing. But do you want to record what you just said on a Tuesday on our podcast timeline? And we can, because I haven't heard anybody else say that. Have you, Dion? I haven't heard anybody else say that. That's valuable information. That is
how I understand it. When I hear like lenders talk about it, it sounds like so complicated, but when you learn what it actually is and how to calculate it, that's pretty much what it is. I like step down because it's definable and I know exactly what it will be every year. So I could just look at my loan amount and pull my calculator out and calculate it. So it's much more definable. Can
you do that on Tuesday? Either this coming Tuesday or the following Tuesday, maybe with us.
Yeah.
We'll talk. Let's just, because I think that is, nobody says that. Nobody has.
Yeah, because if you think rates are going up, you might not care about yield maintenance. Take the lower rate, take the prepay with yield maintenance if you believe rates are going up and you're exiting soon within that period of whatever that rates are going up. But then if rates go down, it goes against you. So it's kind of like a little bit of gambling, sort of.
Yeah. But if your plan, the option is there. It gives you an option actually that you right now, nobody realized based on what you just said that might actually be a viable option to get out during the 5-year period, right?
Yeah.
Can Joe, will you send Albert the calendar, and then Albert, you just pick which Tuesday coming up here? And we'll
Yeah,
just
we'll
do it.
figure
We
it
don't,
out.
we won't, maybe you could, what would be super awesome is if there was a way for you to have like a little, are you able to show us, like screen share a little calculator on it or anything, or an example?
I don't have a calculator because, I don't do commercial. The only reason I know yield maintenance is because I'm looking at loans that have yield maintenance. And
Yeah,
I'm trying to decide which one's better. Do I do points? Do I do no prepay? Am I going to
Okay.
get out quickly? Or do I take the lower rate today and take that yield maintenance risk and potentially be better or worse off in the future? So that's something I have to think about as a
If you're
borrower.
going to refinance, your plan is to refinance, would you recommend maybe going into an ARM? Because my thought is that's a little bit gambling, because if rates don't go down, they keep going up, then you're kind of
Yeah.
stuck. But at the same time, if you get an ARM, you get a lower rate for a while.
Exactly. You get a discount on your rate. And
So
so it depends on what you think about the market. Nobody knows for sure, right? So
what's interesting about this is basically the same type of analogy in real estate that we use even with sellers of properties, right? It's like, here's all the options, which one fits best for you? And the most important thing is to be aware of all the options. When you have all the options, there's almost no way that you can't move forward, right?
yeah.
And maybe, there's always some risk in whatever, but this is wonderful. So Joe, when you do the description today, maybe you could say yield maintenance versus step down versus ARMs as part of our little topic tag. Sorry guys, we just do our administrative stuff right in front of you, right? That's how it works. Just kill two birds with one stone here. But that is a great thing. Ian, do you want to ask some more questions? Because you're making us think.
yeah, no, I'm just I was considering doing it. I mean, I was in the process talking to someone, and then I was like, well, do I even want to do this because the rates are high? But yeah, Albert, Albert, would you go with an ARM then, since you're thinking that the rates will go down later?
I think rates will go down, but I wouldn't want somebody else to follow me unless if they can't handle the risk. That's what they're saying. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen, right? Or out of the oven, I guess the saying goes, or something, a Dutch oven. But
Dutch oven.
yeah, I think it will go down.
What?
Yeah. And that's the saying I heard. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen, something like that, like the oven.
Don't say Dutch oven when I'm surrounded by middle schoolers all the time. That has a different definition.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I won't tell you right now what that is, but some of you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they got a different kind of sense of humor. I'll say that. But yeah, I just meant like if somebody can't handle the risk, I wouldn't recommend it. If it's like somebody who it would devastate them. Maybe they don't want that risk, so they'll do a different path. Maybe they pay a little bit of premium, get a longer fixed period, or an option that's more secure because they couldn't handle the risk. And then you just got to figure out what the risk would be roughly, and that would allow you to make your decision. I think most people, they can't make a decision between an ARM or doing prepays or not, or it's because they don't have a clear path, so they can't make a decision. There's no clarity.
What do you mean when you say they don't have a clear path? You mean they just don't have enough information, or they haven't
just don't
forecasted
understand
their investment plan?
So they don't understand, and then they revert to fear. Because I have a lot of people say, "Oh, I wouldn't do ARMs because back in 06, people lost their shirt doing ARMs." Yeah, if you don't know how to use the ARM, don't do it then, because it is dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. But if you're doing a calculated risk and you know the benefit of taking the ARM versus the 30-year paying a higher rate, then you make a calculated risk based on it, and you have your reserves to back you up, hopefully. That's how I look at it, but I know some people might have a different decision, because right now the ARM is like 0.75 to 1% higher and cheaper in rate. So that's the discount you're getting between picking the ARMs versus the 30-year products in conventional loans. So you kind of have to do the math. to figure out which one is better for you, and then just pick accordingly once you figure out all the risk.
I think a big part of the problem is that people just don't know what the options are out there. Is that I used to say this all the time. I think you and I used to talk about this all the time, Albert, where I would say is the best real estate investor. Like if you were getting started in real estate investing today, there's so much information out there. There's so much noise out there. There's so many this and that and things out there. I would tell people spend the first month, 2 months, however long until it takes you to understand it, and become an expert at understanding financing and debt and equity. Start with that knowledge, because if you know that before you flip a house or buy that duplex or fourplex or jump into the multifamily in the other states, if you understand debt and equity and financing, all your entire field of opportunity on how to get deals done changes, and you have many more things will materialize as deals because you understand that part of it. Most people do it in the reverse. They worry about maintenance and, the rules on rentals or, this and that. And, I'm going to refinance with this type of thing at the end. They got to get fully versed in the debt and equity and the financing, including seller financing. If you start there, instead of watching how to flip this house or how to underwrite an apartment deal, I mean, that's part of it, right? You have different, just like for sellers, again, you have your cash hassle-free option, you have your novation option now, which we haven't talked about. Those are we have your maybe sell to a corporate iBuyer option, all these different options. And you go through and which one works best for you. This one's the shortest amount of time, you get the least amount of proceeds. This requires this amount of time and you get this medium proceeds. This is how you get more. You want more? Oh, you got to do a little repairs. It's the same thing with your financing, right?
Yeah,
you go through the different options, but you have to know what they are in order to. So you should start with that, because if you start with that, then you're going to look at a deal and you might say, well, it doesn't work if I finance it that way, but it does if I can do it this way. Now, all of a sudden you have more deal opportunities, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if they take seller financing, the guy might only put down 10%. And then you as a seller, you'll have to carry 90% over 10 years or whatever it is until you get taken out or paid off. But you get a higher price, let's say, versus all cash. Might be quick, no contingencies, but you're only going to get 70 cents on the dollar or whatever, 80.
Yeah, or maybe interest only is going to not pay down your principal, but it's going to take the risk in some ways. There's going to be risks on the annual bumps. There's going to be, interest only, might get you over a rough period of time. It just depends on forecasting and modeling, right? Which is fun. That's actually, to me, the thrill of the chase and the number crunching is the fun part. The management, once you own it.
That's not fun.
Not fun. So that's your Dion. And people ask you for rent increases, then you're in a different boat. Right? Did you get, when you did that, Dion, when you had your Dion talk out on your book where you present them with the book and your tenant kind of picks their rental increase amount out of reasoning because they realize it ain't better on the other, grass is not greener on the other side. Didn't you get a bunch of people who don't know what's going on probably give you a bunch of shit about it? Or what was the result of that?
So in the fire community and on YouTube, it's very well received. Yeah. People are like, you have happy tenants. Happy tenants don't leave. They don't trash the place. Landlords get a rent increase without having to do a rehab. So everybody who's in the realm, in this space at all, thinks that's amazing.
Yeah.
But on Reddit, there's a subgroup called anti-work.
Oh.
Fringe, far left socialism. Anybody who's ever had to work for money, that the whole world is against them. There are thousands of people calling for my death because I'm a capitalist and landlords are evil. And so in that group, not so popular.
That's hilarious, actually. Kind of a little scary, but slightly funny too. Well, once you put yourself out there, you're going to get, it's inevitable to get beat up or, you know, or whatever. So again, who cares, right?
Do they all live in their mom's basement or what?
Pretty much. And then none of them had an articulate response or an actual answer. It's literally all housing, all food, all healthcare should be free
Right.
Yeah.
with no solution.
Right. Right. What else is going on? Anybody have any other questions about stuff?
I do.
Lay it on us, brother.
All right, I need your wisdom on something that's going on. And I see there's a couple of wise people on here. So I have the opportunity to either loan money for a rehab over in the Bremerton area, or I can do and invest in this. So considering what the market is these days, I kind of tend towards doing the loan because it'd be the fixed value of somewhere between 7 and 8%. But what thinkest thou, wise ones?
Are you going to be in first position or second position?
I'll probably be in second position on this one.
Well,
Have you
that
talked,
is risky in this market. Some, maybe, as long as there's a lot of room and the loan to value with your second on top is maxing out at, you know, something,
70.
I don't know, 70.
Yeah.
You know, if you're, yeah, go ahead, Dion. I know you're got something to say.
I try not to say too much. Whether it's a loan or you take an equity position, it's kind of like having a partner. You're working with people while that transaction's happening.
Okay.
The loan, the interest that you get, you're not going to get the benefits that come with real estate. You don't get write-offs on that income. You're not going to get depreciation. You're not getting all of the reasons why a lot of us got into real estate in the first place. So given the two, I would take an equity position if those are your two only options to deploy the funds for the best return.
Okay.
I'm not a people person, so I wouldn't be looking for partners, so I wouldn't want an equity position. But lending, especially in second position, is pretty risky. Is there a third option where you can deploy the funds to get all the benefits of real estate and the cash flow without adding a partnership to your space?
Okay.
There is, it's just, it would be tied up longer. You might be tying it up for 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you could go maybe talk to Flynn Family Lending and find a way to get in first position on somebody that just needs some money, but not a lot of money, you know, where you're going to be in first position on something and you can charge a higher rate. And you might, that timeline might be quicker or something like that.
So if we do it, if it's a flip and it's intended to be back on the market in say 3 or 4 months, would the equity position work well?
Here's what I'm worried about. You need to know, because the market is fluctuating, you need to know a lot about this partner / person you loan or partner with. Things, shit hits the fan, they're going to have to be able to refinance and hold that property. So are they financeable? That would be my question. Are they financeable with a, you know, conventional loan or whatever? That would be, you would need to know that either to partner with them or lend them any money. Because
And make sure you want to be with them too. What happens if they could finance, but you don't want to be in the deal with them for that long? You know, that's another thing.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Because you're looking at it like for a quick exit, right? In your mind, you're thinking, well, 4, maybe 6 months tops. What happens if it becomes a 5-year ordeal and they can't pay you back because the market goes down too fast?
That's one of the fun things about real estate, isn't it?
Are you looking to invest this money long term, or you want to get access? You want it to be coming back to you within the first 6 to 12 months?
Well, I was figuring, yeah, that I'd have it come back within 5 months or 6 months.
One of the things to consider, Dave, is how long have they been flipping? Because anybody who's been flipping for the last 8 years can make massive mistakes, delay the rehab, underestimate the rehab, and prices were going up so much that delay made their deal profitable.
Right.
most
Okay.
people right now don't expect the prices to continue to go up as fast for the next 2 years. So if there are mistakes or delays or, after repair value or all the mistakes that can happen during a flip, you're not going to be protected by massive price increases like we have been. So that's what I would be looking at with that.
Good point.
You know what I worry about the most for people who are flipping and even new builds, more so flipping and stuff like that right now, is that the brokerage community is aware of the change in the market, right? And so I'm already noticing this where I'm like, what the LFNA are you putting it on that low for? Like, so you're going to get, there's just all these agents out there, and depending on who the sellers is and how they talk to them, if they're able to convince them to list it low, too low, they will, right? And then on the other hand, there's going to be sellers that want that top end of the range because their neighbor sold 2 months ago, and we're trying to tell them, hey, look, that doesn't mean anything from 2 months ago right now. We can only look at what's pending, period.
Yep.
What's pending is our guide right now, not what's closed last month or the month before. Okay, because remember, what closed last month or the month before took their offer even 30 days before that. So I always find it interesting. They should add that to the MLS. Not instead of closing date, they should add a line item for, contract date would be really helpful, because that's actually the more important date. And so even in my own real estate, the broker biz, which is what I call my day job, flipping is a day job, that, you can get completely screwed up and you have absolutely no control over it, just purely because other agents are going to be listing stuff too low. Then it requires a lot of work and homework and education to get deals sold. Even if you think you have the right price, you are going to get undercut by listings coming on that now require you to talk your way out of why you have the right price. It's like the reverse of court. You have the burden, they don't have the burden to prove that their number's low. You have the burden to prove their number's low.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And so even if you're like, well, that's a reasonable number on that flip, that seems like a doable number, there's going to be this variable of, God damn it, why did that guy put that on the market for that number? And to me, like I pay for a lot of stuff as a broker, right? I'm like, sure, I'll pay for your staging, I'll pay for whatever. I am now like writing into all my listing agreements that I have to be reimbursed, right? I just won't do it. I'll just give a lower rate and say, because of the fluctuation in the market, unless I know they're having to sell, unless I know they're going to sell because they already bought a place, they have to move for some reason, it's vacant, they're going to sell it. Even as a broker, I'm having to change the way I operate because I don't want to be out of pocket. I mean, that shit's expensive, right? Staging is just inflation, like anything else, is now more expensive. So if you don't need the money right away, there are still good, Dion doesn't like it when I say this, but there might be some good syndication deals where you can get 8%, but your money's just going to be tied up much longer. So if you want to get back access to that money because the market might dip, or maybe we don't know what's going to happen, you want to be ready to pounce with your money and you're just looking to park it for a minute, you wouldn't want to do anything like that. You'd want to be evaluating. What I would do is I would go to Flynn Family Lending, because then you get they're very experienced. They have another set of eyes. They have borrowers coming to them all the time. And just say, I'm looking for a first lien position where I can get my money back in 6 or 8 months, right? Maybe it's somebody that just needs, whatever the dollar is amount that you have, and they're not trying to max out some loan to value, and it's been vetted, and maybe Flynn's done a bunch of business with them, so they know they're experienced, and you can gain, use them as your launch pad, sounding ground, help you vet stuff as an alternative.
That's a good idea. I'll give them a shout and see what they say and work it from there. This funding would just be sort of short is what I was planning on. So maybe the equity position is out. But then again, I'll have to find out with, Flynn, what I want to do regarding
The
supporting
equity
this flipper.
position, the equity position isn't out. It's just that, is that a qualified person? Like Dion says, just because they did a bunch of deals doesn't mean in troubled times they won't, their margin of error that they've had in the past. And also I would want to know somebody's lendability conventionally to take you out if things went wrong.
Yeah.
That's my big.
It's an exit strategy, right, Julie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you guaranteed no guarantee, but how are you safe with your exit? Loan to value cap, one of them, credit check and lendability check on, somebody could probably make some side hustle money on being the lendability check for investors who loan money to each other. To vet that, like
All right.
an underwriting person,
Okay, thank you.
$250 a pop or something, Albert. There you go.
$250 a pop. What?
I'm saying charge a flat fee
Oh,
to vet somebody to underwrite them as their lendability on the takeout, because
Yeah.
that's needed. That's to me, that's like a little spot that's needed. We almost need like a service that does, I know they exist because I think people that do lease options do that kind of stuff.
mhm.
They check on that. I know Mariska knows who used to do that. There used to be somebody that charged
Somebody,
like 450
somebody to
bucks
do a
pop.
little, like a little QC for you, a little quality control for your underwriting, make sure
Exactly.
your numbers. Yeah.
A quality control on checking somebody's lendability so that plan
Mhm.
B, if it needs to go into place, has been vetted.
I'd do that for select people. I mean, I don't want to say that like, we only
Yeah.
have 11 people here, so we can say that, but I wouldn't want to get inundated with just busy work. But I'd be happy to talk to some scenarios and just walk them through it. That's not a big deal.
Yeah.
From a lending point of view, I would just let like, hey, this person you're lending your money to, they're here's where they're at. I mean, assuming they let me talk to you.
You
about
have to
this
authorize
information.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, authorize it. But I would say, hey, here's their debt to income. Here's their ability to take out this loan in case, the flip doesn't go through. Here's how much margin they have before they could not qualify any longer.
Right. And then maybe
Yeah.
you make that person sign something with you that says, I won't take on any more debt during the term of our loan.
Right, 'cause they could do that too, huh, Julie? They could borrow
Yeah.
more from others.
If I was somebody that needed to raise money for flips and whatever, and I wanted to be head and shoulders above the next guy or gal next to me that was also doing that, I, as somebody borrowing the money, would incorporate an offering to have this done to me, to have this information vetted on me as part of offering a due diligence package on myself that includes current confirmation of my lendability to that investor. Wouldn't you feel confident if somebody was saying, hey, do you want to invest in this deal? And I'm going to offer you a credit check on plan B and plan C on me, to protect your position. That'd be smart.
That makes sense.
Right? There you go, Holly. There's something for you.
And I agree totally with Dion that most flippers have been riding the wave for the past few years. And if they didn't have really tight numbers before, now that the market's changing, those numbers have to be tight or you're going to lose. It's just how it works when you're in a changing and down market. And so those flippers might have done their numbers before, and now things are different and things are going to really tighten up on those profit margins too.
Yeah. One good piece of news I've heard though lately is that, I don't know if you guys saw that like on Yahoo Finance. I love Yahoo Finance. That they were talking about how, for example, Walmart and maybe even Target now actually has an oversupply of inventory because they overplanned for the shortage of inventory, and maybe things are easing. I don't know. Dion's in trucking, so he's going to know. Loosening up a little bit. Maybe Dion is going to be able to tell us. My point is that it's a good time if you guys personally or whatever need appliances or TVs and stuff like that. Go to Walmart because they're putting their shit on sale. Okay, because they got this is what I read, got an oversupply of stuff. And if that's the case, then maybe this inflation type of thing, if that happens and this is loosening up, might come down hopefully a little sooner than everyone's expecting, which means things might go, I think things might potentially go back to a little bit moving in the right direction, normal by the end of the year. And then in January, the shit's going to be like boom again. And the prices are going to be, it's going to be back with competition. I mean, right? If you're a buyer right now, you want to be buying from now to the end of the year, because by January, we might get a surprise that rates might not go up as much as we think. Inventory, I don't know, Dion can help us with this, might actually start flowing a little bit better. And that means people overplanned for a problem and the prices are going to go down, which is going to be all over the news. And then what do you think, Dion?
Yeah, it was a couple of the bigger chains like Target and Walmart that had done the overstocking. But I think that's going to hit places like Lowe's and Home Depot too. So you're right. I agree.
Good time to buy stuff. You know, what do you think? What do you think about from your trucking stuff? What's going on with, we were talking about all these truckers having to wait, and not getting the stuff off the boats, or I don't know what's going on, but tell us from your trucking industry what the word is.
Well, the supply chain issues hit a lot of the transportation companies because things that could have been delivered to terminals were now having to be delivered to that, what they call the last mile. So more localized stuff. So almost every trucking company for the past year and a half has been hiring. Sign-on bonuses went from 2,500 to 15,000. The demand is there for drivers. I don't know that we've solved that. So I don't know that supply chain issues are going to be fixed anytime soon, but I do know that a lot of companies, the larger ones, were planning on that. So they were ordering things for next quarter. And then inflation kept going. So completely out of control. And the numbers we're hearing are, you guys probably understand what I'm about to say more than anyone I've ever talked to, but the 8% inflation that we're hearing, they're factoring in what's called owner equivalent rent. So instead of looking at what rents were in 2020 and 2021 and then saying, this is how much the increase is now, they're checking with homeowners and they say, how much do you think you could rent your house for? So they came up with a 2.5% increase to rents from last year to this year. How many people here are only seeing a 2.5% increase to rents? Because I saw 20 to 28% at tenants' request, which is usually below the area average. So inflation, I think, is still way higher than it is. And supply chain issues are still there. The trucking companies can't find people. Nobody wants to drive a truck. So, I mean, we're flooded as a school, but there's not enough schools to provide what's needed. I think right now is probably one of the best times to buy because those companies have that overstock problem.
Yeah. But the supply chain issues then are related to employment and
production. And so if you've done a rehab recently, we went from, you had to wait 15, maybe 20 days to get your windows. Now it's 70 to 90 days to get your windows. That's what it's taking. Is that though
because the window manufacturers can't find people to employ?
Can't find people, can't get the materials because those companies can't find people to provide it. And then you have the transportation back to where they're manufactured, to where they're delivered. So it's just like a cascade.
Okay, then let's talk about that for a second, because that's interesting. You think in your head, when you think about supply chain issues, you think about like, oh, damn it, those Europeans or whatever's coming from on the boat is, I don't know, you think of all kinds of stuff, but you don't think I don't naturally automatically go to, oh, they can't hire people. But why are people, why are people not taking the jobs?
So, not an economist, joined the Marine Corps because it was the only place it would take me. We had to bribe people to return to the workforce from 2020. Here in Washington State, you can make $75,000 a year sitting at home on unemployment. So average annual nationwide income was what, 54,000 or something. So people were making a lot more to be on unemployment. Last year, we had what they're calling the Great Resignation. So a little over 40 million people quit their jobs last year, but unemployment is under 4%, which means they're not quitting and not working. They're changing companies. And now you have more opportunities to work from home for tech companies than we've ever had. Places like Pinterest paid $89 million to break their lease in San Francisco and then gave each employee $20,000 to relocate. So employers that needed people to come in and do physical manual labor were paying $15, $16 an hour because it's better than minimum wage, but it wasn't skilled labor. It was, you're just loading a trailer or whatever. Well, now you can make $22 an hour sitting at home doing something on your computer, or $18 an hour as an entry-level position at Chick-fil-A. We're seeing record wage inflation. So even our truck driving school here in Washington in 2021, we did 2 5% increases. Right now, this week, and none of my people are watching, we're doing a 20% across the board wage increase to not only retain, but to attract staff, because we can't find people that want to work either. And we're part of one of the spokes in the wheel that puts the person in the truck to make the stuff move to the places that can actually do the work.
But unemployment runs out, right? So isn't there like a wave of that runs out? But you look at like TikTok and all these other things, and everybody's like, they're online stores, and there's all these people, probably almost like the new wholesaler real estate investor thing is this online retailer, reseller, get your Shopify, sell your shits, pick the products and affiliate marketing.
I make 4 times off affiliate marketing what I make from YouTube. There's so much money in affiliate marketing.
Affiliate marketing of what? What are you affiliate marketing? Like what are you selling as affiliate marketing?
So Amazon affiliate right now is really the only main one. I've got some sponsors that have reached out now. So I'll be doing Webull, the Ridge wallet, and some hotspot thing. But Amazon itself as an affiliate, if you have a Facebook account and you have more than 300 or 400 friends, you could start generating money as an affiliate, because all you do is I'll make a little short video. These are the locks I put in my rental. The link is in I'll make the first comment. The way Amazon works is if they click on the link to just look at the lock, it puts a cookie on their device. For 24 hours, anything at all that person buys from Amazon, I get a cut.
Any lock they buy or anything?
Buy a TV. I got $27 a couple of weeks ago because somebody bought electronics. When I'm affiliate marketing, all I did was a leather book, which is over there, and my locks. So Amazon affiliate marketing is you direct them to Amazon, you're going to get a cut of whatever they purchase. Other affiliate marks, they really give you like a code they've got to put in. Amazon's one of it's the most friendly right now.
Why wouldn't everybody on the planet do that?
Because when I say it, people think it takes 5 minutes. Go to Amazon's website and look up Amazon Associate.
Amazon Associate.
And then you put in, because I don't know if you have to be, but I have Amazon Prime. Most people do. It adds another bar at the top of your Amazon. So you can search, or underneath it, there's like a yellow bar that says get a link. So you look up anything you want to talk about to get the link. Put that link on your social media or in your YouTube or on your website so that they click on it. Then you get the 24 hours. And there's a ton of those. You can do Walmart online. You can do Alibaba. You can affiliate with almost anything, especially if they sell several different products. And it's a lot more effective.
Well, so you're not actually, you're mentioning a product, but it's basically, and you're genuine about it, but it's a hook just to simply get them to Amazon.
And it doesn't cost the person a penny. They pay the normal rate that they would pay if they Googled it and went to it themselves, or if they found your link and went to it. So the person's not paying anymore. It's just Amazon is trying to figure out how to get people to direct traffic to Amazon, and then they cut you in on it. And so I was doing it on Facebook.
Cheaper for them. That's cheaper for them than their other marketing. Brilliant. Joe, you probably not paying attention like this. So I know you told me to do something the other day, a little bit different than this, Joe, with the other thing, my whatever Novation stuff. But we should talk about this, Joe.
Yeah, Julie, you got all this influence. All you got to do is put cookies on our phone and you'll get paid. I buy a lot of crap on Amazon.
It sounds confusing, but it's
Yeah.
My worst month in 2021 was about $1,500. My best month was about 400 or 4,000. And I only make one, maybe two videos a month where I mention a product.
Will you grab one of your videos and throw it in the chat and we can see your video that you did it on? You know what
Sure.
I mean?
Yep. Let me mute it so I'm not.
I don't know why more people don't show up to, I mean, to me, I think, honestly, this is
That's
one of the
pretty
best
cool.
conversations in town that we have here every week. I'm biased and I don't like to go to 100
Yeah.
other ones, but I do, I am,
I think that's pretty cool though, because they don't have to buy the direct product. The cookie allows anything they buy on Amazon to
that's
be
the
commissionable.
interesting thing right there.
Yeah, so if
If
I
they
end
just
up going
click-
on Amazon Fresh and buying some pears, you know, because I'm hungry, so Dion's going to get a commission off that, right, Dion?
I'm sure you have to be 18 because my kids would rock the shit out of this right here. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you,
Well, kids don't buy that much, right? So the people
You're-
following your kids.
You
aren't
have to
buying
have
that
an
much
Amazon
stuff.
Prime account. So I think that's the
Oh.
barrier. So it would be
Oh,
on your
okay.
account, but your kids can do it. There are influencers that are 13 that have a YouTube channel that have affiliates with sponsors. I mean, an adult signs the contract that make millions doing that.
But
adult
what if I
signs.
have like click on 20 videos? Would all 20 people that made the video get that reward or just the last one?
So if you watch my video, here's how it works. The video, I talk about it. Then in the description, there's a link. And then the first comment is you pin a link, right? So on Facebook, it would be on your wall. You just make the comment and put the link as the first comment. Because Facebook doesn't like to share posts that take you off of Facebook. So if you post a link to a video on Facebook, it only shows it to a few people. But if you post a picture and then put the link as the first comment, it sends it to more of your friends. So there's more ways to like ripple effect out who you show it to. Whoever clicks on that link, it does it for forever. I put that video is probably 2-3 months old. I still get people that watch it because they go, oh, what locks does he put on his rental properties? And then they go look at the link, and then whatever they buy comes in that month's payment.
Wow. I mean, you set up like a payment
That's pretty cool.
gateway.
So it's just like YouTube. When you monetize YouTube once a month, you get paid on the 21st for the previous month. Amazon is through Gmail. It's just another, like an AdSense payment that goes right into your account.
Boy, people are missing out today. That's
Yeah,
a
that
good
could.
one. That, who would have ever thought we'd talk
So that's
about
all
that?
behind the scenes stuff. Normally I try to talk real estate.
Yeah, that's cool. So what other revenue channels do you have? Your real estate, you have that, you have YouTube.
So most of us have worked in an industry. You've worked in lending, you've worked in real estate. I've worked in law enforcement, truck driving, and the Marine Corps. My other side hustle that gets me between 10 and 20,000 a year is being an expert witness. So there's an expert institute. You just Google expert institute. And it's like a Yellow Pages, if you're old enough to remember what that is, that attorneys go to, and they go, I have a court case on a pedestrian accident or a bicycling accident. So Joe, they would go, okay, you're a bicyclist, you know these rules, how many states have you gone in? What is reasonable for a person to know? You provide a testimony and you get paid $1,000 or $2,000 depending on how much you want as a retainer. So that's 2 or 3 cases a month.
An
and it literally
online
takes-
testimony, like online?
So it can be a Zoom, or it can be the worst cases I've been deposed. So you have like a 3-hour talk with somebody, but you charge a retainer, and then you use that usually through emails. If you do get deposed, you charge like $150 or $200 an hour, like you're an attorney basically. You don't need any education. You just need to have worked in the industry that you're an expert for. So if you have rentals, you're a landlord. If you're
that's cool.
if you've been driving for more than 5 years, you're a car driver. You can provide expert testimony for almost anything that you've worked in.
I'll be
Pretty
a
easy
mortgage
side hustle to
testimony.
develop.
Expertwitness.com.
Expert Institute.
Expert Institute. This
And
is
so
just-
once you get on their roster, they try to pay, because they're getting a cut from the attorney too. So they try to pair you up with different court cases. And I live in Washington. Most of the court cases are all over the country. Law enforcement is law enforcement. Truck driving is truck driving. Real estate is
so
real
they're
estate.
calling you for stuff across the country.
Correct. So you get on that roster, and there's other rosters that you can get onto too. That's just the one I've done the most work with. So
Yeah, interesting. This is all good stuff. Really interesting. It just, yeah, I mean, people got to be hustlers, right? You know, really interesting.
I
I think
appreciate your hustle, Dion. That's awesome info.
thank you.
particularly with the online stuff. That's interesting. I think a lot of people don't do it because they just don't know. They think it's too complicated, right?
Well, most of us have looked at real estate, or how do you reach financial freedom? And I've got videos on the 6 steps to get started, and Rich Dad Poor Dad had, here's the 6 lessons, or we know how to invest, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first thing most people talk about is saving, and most people focus on reducing your expenses. If you house hack, the latte factor, and eliminate your things, right? You can only save 100%. The real trick to saving is that top line. Overtime, change companies for more pay, develop a skill that gets you paid more, develop side hustles. Like for a while, I used to play a game called World of Warcraft and sell stuff on eBay. That was my side hustle while I was a single parent before I got into anything else that made money, because I could do it at home with the kids. And there's so many ways now with the internet that we can make money outside of our job, that you increase that top line and saving becomes even easier, because there's no limit to the increase. You can only save 100% of what you make, but you can increase it as much as you want. So.
Dang, bro.
That's great.
Dion Talk. If you guys haven't subscribed to Dion's YouTube channel, will you drop it below, Dion? I guess it is in your video, right? It's on the video that you shared?
Yeah, the video with the locks is in the chat.
Yeah, you guys might want to hit the subscribe and notify button on that one right there. Because this
I'm like
guy,
this far from hitting 10,000 subscribers, which is when you're finally not a small channel anymore. You're just a channel.
yeah,
So it's kind of cool.
awesome.
It's great.
Let's get you there. Yeah, how much does YouTube pay? Is that?
I'm averaging, I'll just pull it up and show you. I think it's like 500 a month.
Yeah.
Off just YouTube AdSense. So.
But once you hit 10,000, that probably what, 5 times over or what?
No, so right now it's $487 is what I've got coming for the last 28 days. So you'll add 2 or 3 more days to that. So that's from AdSense from YouTube, but that's like the smallest way you get paid. With once you have, once you do the, like I said, Amazon alone is between 1,500 and 4,000 for doing nothing. Like I make 1 or 2 videos where I talk about some item. And
that is on your YouTube channel, not on your Facebook.
That's I talk Facebook, YouTube, and anywhere where I put the link out. I don't track which source threw them to Amazon.
Oh, does it track the source for you?
I don't think so. I don't know, because it doesn't even tell me which link got them there. It just says they either purchased a renewable subscription, which gets you, like if somebody buys Audible, you get $15. If somebody buys other subscriptions like the Kindle Premiere, where you get $5. So you'll get those recurring every time that they renew. So some of my money is from over a year ago where people are renewing Audible subscriptions. You get that $15 every year when they renew.
You get a residual. Wow.
Correct.
Nice.
Hey, Dion, how does the taxes work on all of that?
I send you a 1099.
You're 1099. So
Okay.
mentally calculate, I'm setting aside X amount, but it comes in the passive income, like real estate. So you get to use write-offs. You can't use depreciation against that income. But so most of every trip I've ever taken,
Right.
film on YouTube, something, right? I just spent 2 months in Florida doing a bunch of scuba diving, and I filmed
YouTube.
videos down there. So that entire trip is a write-off against YouTube. And then, yeah.
Nice.
You could be the next influencer. That could be your next stream of income.
Joe's going to crush it on this himself as well. You already
I've been
doing
doing this for 12 years, guys.
Oh, there, yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Fortune Builders taught us this in 2008.
Yeah.
The biggest affiliate single commission I've had is like 12 grand from a real estate guru course. That's pretty cool when you accidentally get 12 grand.
Yeah.
Do you guys also do
Dion, how many
Facebook
subscribers
groups?
is that pays you the $500 a month? Is that like
So subscriber count kind of matters to the creator, because you're like, okay, I feel like I'm growing, right?
Yeah.
Video views is where you make your money. You get paid for how many views. So I average about 25,000 views a month to get $500 a month. There are channels that have 100,000 subscribers that aren't making hardly any money because it's not a recurring. People don't return to watch. And then there's really small channels that just, they've got like 5,000 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, but they get 1 million views. They're making 10 times the amount of money that I am. So it's all how many times a video has been viewed.
I hear the finance industry gets more per thousand. Is that true? Real
Finance
estate?
industry gets more, education gets the most.
Oh,
So
education.
if you do people and blogs, they figure that people going there are going there for entertainment. If you go to finance, people are going there for edutainment. But if you go to education, that is people with disposable income that are trying to learn whatever you're educating them on. So there's a thing called CPM, cost per million or whatever. It's every 1,000 clicks you get views, you get a certain amount. And so like a vlogger who talks, this is my day in my life, they'll get like $2 per 1,000. Whereas in education, I get about $46 per 1,000. So it's a significant difference.
Yeah, that's why like Graham Stevens has like 3 million subscribers, and he's always talking about doom and gloom on YouTube.
Because it gets views.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super smart.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
You guys know those financial YouTubers like Graham Stevens,
Oh
Andre?
yeah.
Jake?
How about meet Kevin Pathrath?
Kevin? Yeah.
Somebody in SIC just ran into Kevin Pathrath at the airport in Italy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Eric Yu. He's a new member maybe of Seattle Investors Club.
Wow.
What do you think
Crazy
of
world.
Kevin? What do you think of meet Kevin, Dion? Do you like that guy or are you tired of him?
I watch almost all of his stuff as long as it doesn't have stimulus, running for governor, or that kind of stuff. I'm not really a stock investor, so I'll watch a short one if he does it.
Yeah.
His real estate stuff was great.
Yeah.
I love his real estate content. Same with Graham Stephan. I usually refer a younger audience to 3 YouTubers: Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, and Millennial Mike. They were, 30 or less, became millionaires through real estate. Then Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin blew up on YouTube. And if you get your source of income from YouTube, I wouldn't get my real estate advice from them.
Right.
If you want to grow a YouTube channel, go watch them. They've actually, I think, got courses on how to grow.
Kevin got more into the stocks and all that stuff. Have you watched his YouTube stuff, his channel, his YouTube education?
I watch most of the stuff that he puts out, as long as it's kind of real estate or finance based.
No, I mean, he has a YouTube course.
I have not taken his course.
Okay.
I've taken a couple of courses to do reviews on it, and then you become an affiliate for the course. So,
yeah,
but not his.
Good stuff. Phil Solberg, I was going to call you out and say hi. What's up? Can you hear me? Are you still there? Maybe he's feverishly taking notes. This is recorded, guys. Yeah, I'm just teasing. Well, geez, we've gone over time today because we got so enthralled in this conversation. So once again, everybody, thanks for coming. Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah, always good. I'm just amazed. I mean, it's been so long that we've been doing this, and I still am amazed that the conversation is good every week. Really, really thankful for you guys. So we'll see you on the next one, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Everybody have a fantastic holiday weekend, and we'll catch you later.
Thank you. Have fun. And